20 years, roughly, with no recollection whatsoever of being molested by your father?
I only had one memory. And then it came full circle when the flashbacks started. Yeah.
So you did remember it?
The memory I had was just the bed with the dirty Kleenexes and my dad in his underwear. And it was a memory I've always had. And then when I had the rest of the flashback, it was a part of the memory. It was like it weaved right in. It was just like a part of the memory. It was just like a video. It just...
And when did you have this memory, the first memory, the one you said you had?
October 2017.
Well, no,
Oh, the first one I've always remembered since a little girl. Yeah.
You've always remembered
I've always remembered. I just didn't know what it wasn't really relevant. I just was like, oh, you know, and then when the flashback happened, that was a part of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'd only remembered, my brain had blocked everything else out.
So you did have some memory, you just weren't ever bothered by it?
Right, because it wasn't abusive. It was just the memory of my dad in his underwear and the bed and Kleenexes in there.
Well, so when these repressed memories came flooding back, you, of course, were upset with him, I can understand. How upset were you with your mother?
It was hard. It was, you know, for her not being there and not protecting me, not keeping me safe. She didn't, you know.
Have you talked to her about that?
Yeah. We've talked a lot about it. There's been a lot of therapy.
And what did you say about that?
I told her I did the best I could because I couldn't always be around her.
So you accepted the validity of what she was saying on its face?
Yeah, I did. Just only, I accepted it because at the time, I was caught off guard, of course, and I'm like, okay, we need to figure this out.
These memories are real for me, and if they're not real, where do I go? I'm crazy then. Why would I just have these memories? Like, why? Why would they just come? Why would I even make this up? My dad was one of my best friends. We had an awful relationship in my childhood and my teens. And then he became one of my best friends in my 20s. And he was the dad that I never had. It was awful saying goodbye to him. It was probably worse than actually the idea of the abuse, was having to say goodbye.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.